Hare Krishna and welcome everyone to our weekly Bhagavad Gita session. We'll be discussing few verses from chapter 3 today, and therefore the topic of today's session is the perfect world for, and we'll soon find out what it is for. So during the last few Sundays, we discussed few verses from chapter 2, where the Arjuna asked question in the 53rd verse, and in the 54th verse, Krishna explains the Sthita Prajna. Uh, Sthita Prajna in the 53rd verse, and the 54th verse, Arjuna asks question. Sthita Prajnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya Keshava. Uh, that such a person, that Sthita Prajna Muni to whom you are describing in such a glorified way, how can I identify that person, and what are his symptoms? How can I identify? How can I become like that person eventually? So Krishna explained from that point, from 55th verse till 71st, 72nd verse, practically all the symptoms of how to become Sthita Prajna. And uh, all the verses of sense control, mind control, and intelligence controls were spoken by Krishna. That control, that entire section is all about control. Don't let your senses wander here and there. Don't let your mind go here and there. um, Protect your mind, protect your senses, protect your intelligence, so that they can remain fixed on the and for the purpose for which they are supposed to be utilized. Then we saw the example that the control senses, the object of the control senses should be Krishna. If you do that, just like Amrish Maharaj did, uh, then the senses and mind can remain perfectly controlled. You don't have to endeavor too much. Just engage them in the service of Krishna. But so so from at the background of in the background of all this discussion, all those instructions coming from Krishna, and Krishna keep giving beautiful examples that just like tortoise withdraw senses, you should also withdraw senses whenever they are exposing to a sense object, and create create space, create your own safe space where you are not troubled by the attractions of this world, so that don't have to endeavor too much to control your senses, urges of your senses. So protect yourself, protect your consciousness, protect your mind. Don't get your mind unnecessarily get exposed to the provoking situations where which for where it might just become weak, and you may fall down, you may end up doing things which you're not supposed to be doing. So so at the background of all this discussion, Arjuna is listening carefully. And beginning of chapter 3, he started thinking that Krishna has told me that I am soul, and everyone present here are also souls. They are eternal by nature. As a soul, you are occupying a body, and the end of this expiry period, you will give up the body and you will move on. So your real nature is your spirit soul. You are spiritual, you are not the body. Body cannot be protected and soul cannot be destroyed. Many beautiful ways in which Krishna explains the nature of soul, nature and the characteristics of the soul. Now Arjuna has heard all of that, and he's kind of recalling all the instructions that Krishna spoke in the chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna also understood from Krishna that every action that he is going to perform will have some reaction, some fruit. Karma phala. Karma will lead to phala. Phala is a fruit, and that fruit is that fruit belongs to me. I cannot escape that fruit. Be it good, bad, or ugly. I have to suffer or enjoy the fruit. So that fruit, karma phala, creates a bondage. Karma phala create bondage, because now it's like eye breaking signal creates a bondage, because now I must I will get caught eventually. My photograph would have got clicked. Now my I'll get a receipt eventually, and I will asked to force to pay. So this is a result of a bad action. Similarly, if a good action, I have to, if I give exam nicely, I have to accept marks. If I've done nicely, I'll have to accept good marks. I don't have a choice there. So, uh, so we are forced to accept the outcomes of our actions. We don't control the outcomes completely, but we get those outcomes and we cannot run away from those. We get all the outcomes that are due to us. So for our every action that we perform in the material world for our own sake will create a phala, will create a fruit, and for that fruit we must be present to accept the good, bad, or ugly effect of that karma phala. So Arjuna is trying to remember this also. Now, so then he's thinking, okay, if I act, my action will produce a fruit. If I perform karma, my karma will produce a fruit. So what if I stop performing activities? Then then there is no fruit. Then I don't have to come back. I don't I don't have to suffer or either enjoy. I will become sthita prajna, neither lamenting nor enjoying. So rather than acting in the world, I should not fight. So to give up action is the conclusion that Arjuna is drawing. I should give up action because action will produce a reaction. So if I don't perform action, I will not get a reaction. So instead, I need to purify my mind and control my senses. For that, I need to engage my senses in devotional service and find happiness within. Arjuna is remembering all those, just revising the entire chapter 2 for us, for our benefit. Now he's saying, he remember that he's Dukeshvu Anudvigna Manaha Sukheshu Vigata Spruha. That Krishna told him that in Dukkha and Sukha, in between threefold miseries, as well as during experiencing happiness, one should not get elated, or while experiencing miseries, one should not get distressed or disturbed. So that should be the state that one needs to attain. So so Arjuna is thinking, I have to remain steady in happiness, distress, free from attachment, anger, fear. Very good. And so for achieving peace, again, I should not fight. So repeatedly him coming to the conclusion that I should give up all my actions that I am desiring. And instead, I should probably go to forest, become a muni, and stay like this, wait for my antakal to come. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram. So antakal is a time of death. And Arjuna is concluding this section of with this kind of a understanding, and with this Arjuna asks a question: uh, should I fight or should I not fight? Should I fight or not fight? Basis what was explained by Krishna to Arjuna, what is your opinion? What is your suggestion to Arjuna? Has Arjuna, we've seen how Arjuna has concluded his understanding of Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, as after various verses Krishna has spoken. This is what he's summarizing his understanding I we presented in front of us, in front of all of us just now. So basis that, can you advise Arjuna whether he has to fight? What's the instruction by Krishna over here? To fight or not to fight? Arjuna is trying to understand, and we have to help him. So kindly go to the chat box and start typing whether you want Arjuna to fight or not fight. Basis what we've heard, basis what the instructions given, that we just summarized a while back. You want Arjuna to fight or not fight? What's your conclusion, conclusive understanding of the instructions? I've not seen any. Anything in the chat box? It started coming. Yes. Carry out his prescribed duty as Arjuna, as Kshatriya, fight. So let's see what Arjuna is asking. By buddhi, if I should practice penance and austerity at a secluded place, then why are you engaging me in this ghora karma of fighting, killing my relatives? How can you answer that? If if the Arjuna's question is correct, isn't it? If I had to control my senses, control my mind, and I had to save myself from the reactions, can somebody say why the conclusion of fighting? Where from the come where it comes from? See, the last time Krishna spoke or advised Arjuna to fight was in maybe 2.33. सुख दुःख समय कृत्वा लाभालाभो जया जयो ततो युद्धाय युज्यस्व naivam papam avapsasi. So that was the last time Krishna has spoken about fighting, and subsequent verses, all subsequent verses, there is no reference to fight. Tato yuddha. Yes. So 39th verse, that is 30, 38 verse. Tato yuddhaya yujyasva naivam papam avapsasi. 38 verse. That was the last time that, and we concluded 72nd verse, went up to the 72nd verse, and there's no reference to fight. Can somebody say why are we then concluding uh, Arjuna's confusion is not correct? Is what we are concluding, because everyone is saying that we should fight. Can somebody, one of you, can say, basis what we've discussed so far, why are you concluding Arjuna to fight? Some of you had mentioned that it's a Kshatriya dharma, but can somebody want to speak? When we think we are the doer and we are the benefiter without surrendering our action, we always think and act out of emotions, experience, perceptions. Uh, No, why fight? It's Krishna's desire. It's Krishna's desire. That's one answer. Okay, let's see. Let's go further. I understand. So let's move forward. Let's see what Krishna has to, Arjuna has to ask this. Since you have presented Buddhi Yoga, Nishkam Karma Yoga, Karma Kanda, Vikarma, I am unable to decide which is best. So please tell me the same. Now, this is again, Dharma is the main reason. Established Dharma. Okay, let's agree. So let's see how Krishna concludes that why he is still asking Arjuna to fight. Let's see why what's how Krishna concludes, how Krishna comes to the same conclusion as what most of you are suggesting, but let's see his thought process here over here. Krishna is saying, Krishna respond in the third verse, Lokesmin Vividha Nishtha Pura Prokta Maya Nagha Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O sinless Arjuna, I have already explained that there are two classes of men who try to realize the self. Some are inclined to understand it by empirical philosophical speculation, and others by devotional service. We'll spend some time on understanding these two concepts. The two classes of men, Krishna is bifurcating the whole population into two people, class kind of people. Those who are trying to understand the self are categorized in these two categories. One is uh, doing it by empirical philosophical speculation, and others by devotional service. Prabhupada writes in the purport that ultimate goal is Krishna. Ultimate goal is Krishna. The whole process is to understand the real position of the self in relation to the super self. The whole position, the whole process of finding, searching the self, adhyatma, ka, the whole purpose behind doing any kind of adhyatma is to understand the real position of the self in relation to the super self. The indirect process, that so the two type of processes defined over here. One is indirect process, one is direct process. The indirect process is philosophical speculation by which gradually one may come to the point of Krishna consciousness. One may. Why? Because the process is confusing. Process is based on empirical evidence. Now, our senses are imperfect. Empirical evidence means what can be perceived by the senses. Whatever senses that we have, sees, eyes can see, ears can hear, nose can smell, hands can touch, tongue can taste and talk. So, whatever the sense organs that we have, anything that can be evidenced with the help of those senses, if one has to only depend on that method and doing philosophical speculation based on our basic intelligence, our own intelligence, on our senses are imperfect, our intelligence is pathetic, our intelligence is weak. We don't know everything, we have propensity to cheat, we make mistake, and we get illusion, and we our senses are imperfect. So these four defects are present in all the human beings. So if we only rely on ourselves to come to the conclusion, to come to the correct conclusion about knowledge of the self, who we are, what this world is all about, is there God, and is there any relationship between me and that God, and what am I supposed to do in this world while am I here, what am I supposed to do, what happens to me after end of my life. I see everyone around me dying. um, it seems that I will also die probably someday, but I don't know what's going to happen to me after that. New children are born. I don't know where from they are coming. So there are so many unanswered questions about our own existence that exist inside our brain, for which we can't find any philosophical, by any mental speculation we can't find any right answer. Each one of us can come up with our own theory about all these answers, and science notebook textbook would have defined, given some definitions, because they have to present something from where this world was origin. Nobody has any idea. So science had to give something, because science seems to have become a pseudo god, almost like God. And so science had to answer this question, which means that science had to come up with some kind of a theory to explain how the world has come into existence. So there is a process that science is trying to follow, primarily based on the empirical evidence. And but Prabhupada writes that is not conclusive process, and there is a chance that you may never come to the right conclusion following that wrong process. So indirect process is dangerous. Indirect process is not really capable of giving you does not assure the same result. You may, but there is a very high probability that you may not be able to come to the same conclusion. On the other hand, there is a direct process. Direct process is to connect everything with Krishna in Krishna consciousness, accept the word of God as the truth, and follow the process uh, of given by him in the Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada writes that of these two, the path of Krishna consciousness is better because it does not depend on purifying the senses by a philosophical process. Krishna consciousness is itself the purifying process, and by direct method of devotional service, it is simultaneously easy and sublime. It is easy and sublime, but because it is direct, there is a less chance of you getting distracted. As long as you follow the process, you will get the result. That assurance Prabhupada is giving through this verse. Prabhupada in the purport also gives a very sutra-like statement. We'll dwell upon that a little bit more. Prabhupada writes in the purport that philosophy without religion is mental speculation. Philosophy without religion is mental speculation, and religion without philosophy is sentiment or fanaticism. So religion without philosophy is sentiment or fanaticism. Now, if you, how many of you have seen the movie Kerala Story? You can say yes if you have seen. Hope you are following the what we have discussed so far. So, how many of you have seen the movie Kerala Story? The Kerala Story. Some of you have seen. Babul Prabhu has seen. Most of you would have heard at least what this whole movie was all about. If you have heard about it, if you have seen it, you can just type yes. If you have no idea about it, you can type no. Not yet seen. But have you heard anything about it? What it contained? I'm not advising you to see it, but general. I want to know. I want to understand how many of you knew what issues were dealt with by that movie. Okay, some of you actually don't know, and a lot of you are aware of what was talked about, what was discussed in this movie. So in the movie, there's a character, the female character, who is a small girl, basically want to, I think, take up the nursing course or something. Goes to a hostel and is now suddenly she leaves her home. Comes from a traditional Indian family, and where she's been following some rituals right from her childhood, and traditional South Indian family, very sattvic kind of a family, and suddenly comes to a city and starts, say, living in a hostel and associating with two girls. One is a Muslim girl, one is a Catholic girl. And so when the Muslim girls, she start asking few questions about what we do, why we do. This girl had no answers. Eventually, she accepts Islam and suffers enormously. And because of the whole process was the entire rest of the movie is a suffering. But the during the initial part of this movie, when the questions were asked about why you do what you do, um, there was no answers. And then some of the additional information when that Islamic girl provides to this girl, Hindu girl, she was she was not she couldn't handle any of those questions. She had no clue why at all. She had no clue about her religion at all. Whereas that Islamic girl, she has been reading her Quran regularly. That Catholic girl has been reading her Bible regularly. They could present their philosophy in much better way to her, and she actually got attracted to her philosophy, to the philosophy of Islam, eventually accept Islam. Now, this is a classic story of all of us. All of us, if we are unable to, if we ourselves don't know whatever we are doing, what we are doing, and there is no philosophical understanding of our knowledge, of our practice, then our practice is not based on some philosophical understanding, then it becomes sentimental practice. It becomes only doing something, some rituals only at the level of sentiments. There's no philosophical foundation for it. Now that's a very dangerous state, because even if little shaking done to these sentiments, your whole building can fall fall flat, because there's no foundation to the building. So let's try to understand these two concepts a little bit more in detail. What is a philosophy and what is religion? So, so Prabhat gives the mental speculation. Prabhat explains this word that philosophy without religion is mental speculation. What is mental speculation? Mental speculation is discussing philosophy without any serious practice. Somebody may memorize the entire Bhagavad Gita without having any faith that Krishna even existed. Just like a tape recorder play Bhagavad Gita, some people may play all the may narrate and chant all the verses from Bhagavad Gita without having faith on any one of those verses, also without having even faith even the Krishna existed. So such kind of a practice is useless. Sometimes. philosophical people keep debating about God, especially on lunch table, especially in even in beer bars, even in while consuming alcohol, people like to discuss all of these things. And these are speculation. Everyone is coming up with their own theory without any head or tail. These are all their own concoction of their own mind, and it's all useless. It's all useless garbage talk which they are doing, because if they were to be able to conclude who God is and what he likes, what he don't likes, they would have become big, superior than the God. Only God can tell who he is. Only God can tell what he likes. We have no capacity to understand that, and hence we should refer to the scriptures. Our conclusion should be based on scriptures, not based on I think मुझे ये लगता है. And nobody cares वो तुमको क्या लगता है, and nobody should care actually about who think whatever people think about themselves, and whatever their opinions are about God and about because their opinion, they really don't matter. They are so tiny, they are so tiny, they are so negligible, they are so useless, they just don't matter. So God's words matters. So whatever is whoever is repeating words of God, they matter. So mental speculation is useless, um, and shouldn't be listening to anybody, any stupid opinion given by anybody out of which is concocted out of their own mind. Fanaticism, on the other hand, religion without philosophy is sentiment or fanaticism. Fanaticism is uh, is believing that only my way is the correct way and all other ways are wrong. And if you don't believe in my philosophy, then you will go to hell. It's a fanaticism, and Islamic, the terrorists typically we see they're doing act of fanaticism. So what is why they do what they do? They have great belief, they have strong belief, but no philosophical understanding, and hence that leads to the destructive actions which they end up performing. Let's understand this concept a little bit more. Now, we'll draw a parallels between science and spirituality. Science and spirituality. Spirituality, I've replaced that with devotional service. In science, we have theory and practical. We have theory and practical. So Newton saw a fruit falling in front of him. Some says it fell on him, some says it fell in front of him. The apple, he saw it falling in front of him. Now, before Newton, a lot of people, millions of people would have seen apple falling. It's not new phenomena that happened on that day itself. There were apples, and there were trees, and they were falling. Apples were falling down. That's nothing great about it. But Newton and most of those people probably would have picked up that apple and ate, or would have taken it to the shop for selling. So, so this was not a new phenomenon. So what Newton greatness is, what his greatness is, he started asking questions that what made that apple fall down, and eventually he came up with a explanation of gravity, explanation of postulated the theory of gravity. Now, and so the theory of gravity, so there is a observed phenomena, observed event in the nature, which is now supported by a theory. Now why should world accept? Because this is Newton, this is what Newton is thinking, this is what Newton has saw. Why should world accept? For that to give get a get a acceptance from the whole world. Now this theory has to be proved with experiments. This theory has to become reality through experiments, and for that Newton had to do experiments. Newton had to throw a fruit up and see if it falls down. It falls down. If I throw a season ball up, will it fall down? Yes, it does fall down. If I store a throne up, um, will it fall down? If I drop a stone from a 10-storied building, will it come down? Yes, it does come down. A flower, if I drop, does it come down? Yes, it comes down. So, like that, I keep experimenting, and then that experiment, with the experiment, I I'm proving my theory. So there is a theory which I have postulated, seeing an observation in the nature, and I'm proving, backing my theory with the experiments. And that experiment I may conduct, I observe this event in, say, London or England. Then I may want to know whether this, does it happen the same way in France or in Spain or in Italy or in America or in India. And when I do those experiments repeatedly at different places, ultimately I prove my theory. This is how science functions. This is how science functions in a broad way. In parallel to that, devotional service in spirituality, we also have a philosophy. We also have philosophy. The Bhagavad Gita is a philosophical book. Bhagavad Gita is also a religion because these are words of God. They purify. If you read Bhagavad Gita, it is purifying also. But in principle, Bhagavad Gita provides us with a philosophical foundation, and where Krishna deals with fundamental questions. Fundamental gives the fundamental information about our own existence, who we are, uh, what are the characteristics of the soul, and what is the who God is. Krishna says, I am God. Krishna proves in the Bhagavad Gita, I am God. He demonstrates in the Bhagavad Gita that he is God by Vishwarupa Darshan. And then uh, discuss the relationship aspect between the soul and super soul. They are not independent, they are not indifferent, they are related, they are intimately related to each other. And krishna want Krishna wants Krishna is interested in the soul. The soul might be very, very tiny, almost negligible, almost doesn't matter. Even if he's there, is not there, but for Krishna, he matters. Every soul matters for Krishna, and therefore Krishna is providing, trying to fulfill the soul's desire, at the same time providing, creating environment for the soul to return back to him eventually, someday, some stage. So there is a lot going on in here. uh, it's also the Bhagavad Gita explains all of those aspects. Bhagavad Gita talks about what happens when we don't go back to Krishna. Where do we go? Bhagavad Gita talks about that in detail, how we leave one body, accept another body, and how this process can perpetually continue until the end of the world, where Krishna will dissolve this world, Krishna will destroy this world, and that time all the souls will enter into Krishna's body, and the beginning of new creation, they will again come out of his body and again continue with their journey. So Bhagavad Gita try to answer, actually affirmatively, conclusively answers all the unexplained questions that exist today, and which science even cannot even try to understand, cannot even try to answer. so so this is a philosophy, and to back, just like in science, how we perform experiment, the religion provide us with do's and don'ts. What should we do? What we should not do? And when we follow those do's and don'ts with sincerity, under guidance, we experience benefits. We experience benefits. We experience peace of mind. We experience spiritual happiness. We while living in this world itself, we can experience spiritual joy which is otherwise not available to us. By connecting with Krishna, we can get that experience of spiritual happiness, and which is otherwise not available in the material realm. We are able to control our senses with the help of our mind and intelligence, and we can direct them in the process of devotional service. Whoever follow the process of devotional service with sincerity, whichever caste they may belong to, whichever nationality they may belong to, whichever region that they may belong to, whichever language they may be speaking, whichever educational class they may belong to, whichever economic class they may belong to, rich, poor, or whichever whatever. So whoever has taken up this process and followed it with sincerity has seen the benefit, has experienced the benefit, which is the proof that the philosophy that is spoken by Krishna actually works. Just like conducting this experiment of gravity at multiple places, eventually Newton's theory gets proven and accepted by all. Similarly, from San Francisco to Tokyo, everywhere and anywhere, whoever has accepted the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita and followed it with all sincerity has experienced transformation of inner consciousness. They very very easily and in very very short time, so they can easily see watch their anarthas reducing, their spiritual feelings increasing, their spiritual happiness experiencing, and with that, their commitment to the process increasing by every day. The people are following Krishna consciousness for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years of their life, ever since they accepted it. They can't just give it up today. So that is possible because they have seen the evidence of how it works, how the philosophy can become action, can be action in our life. Let's do an experiment. Let's do an experiment now. As part of our Krishna conscious practice, we study Bhagavad Gita, we understand the philosophy, and then we perform devotional service. Devotional service comprises of primarily the activities of hearing and chanting and reading Prabhupada books, reading Bhagavad Gita, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, performing devotional activities, actually performing deity worship, performing cooking and offering bhoga to the Lord, calling devotees home, feeding them with prasad, participating in kirtan, visiting spiritual dhams. During yatras, and parting our ways, charity, doing regular charity for the for the using our money, using our Lakshmi that we earn by spending a lot of our time in the material world. Whatever we earn, a part of it, when we share it with Krishna, our hard work of the month gets purified. So this is all what we are doing. We are fasting on Ekadashi days. We are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We are reading Bhagavad Gita. We are not eating onion, garlic. What to speak of not eating meat. We are not drinking alcohol. Even if a lot of people may call it vegetarian, we are not. We are purifying our consciousness. We want to get rid of our anarthas. We don't want to. We want to reduce. We want our anger to reduce. We want our lust to reduce, eventually go away. We want to be truthful. We want to have integrity. We want to help everyone. We are compassionate to every living entities. We don't backstab in people. We do all of those great qualities simply manifest in us if we study Bhagavad Gita and start practicing devotional service with sincerity. We don't no more hate each other. We don't hate even animals. We are merciful. We are compassionate to all the living entities because we see Krishna residing in their hearts too. We are compassionate to all the living creatures, all the animals, all the insects, because we see presence of Krishna inside them as well. So we completely we are by philosophy and by practice, our transformation, we are witnessing a great transformation, the inner as well as outer transformation. Inner transformation is transformation of our heart, which is leading to the outer transformation, because now we dress in a particular way. We don't want to dress uh, in a revealing way. We don't want to reveal our body unnecessarily. We don't want to uh, body revealing dresses we want to avoid. We don't want to wear. We will wear saris, we will wear dhuti kurtas, we will wear simple clothes, we'll wear a tilak, uh, because it gives us remembrance of Krishna. It gives us footprint of a cow, and cows are so dear to Krishna. So everything we are linking to Krishna, and by doing this, we are actually seeing, we are witnessing inner transformation, and we are witnessing outer transformation as well, externally and internally, both ways we are changing, and we're changing and we are feeling happy about that change. Now this transformation can be questioned by people. When we become devotees, when we try to become devotees, suddenly you stop doing a lot of things which you did in past, and suddenly you start doing a lot of things which you never did in past. You probably must be lazy, must be waking up at 8 o'clock. Now you want to wake up at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. You want to take bath, to sit down for japa. Why are you doing all this? Do you think all other people who are not doing it are all demons? What's your thing? No, your uncles, your aunties in home, uncle, mothers, and fathers, and grandfathers, and your friends. There could be so many questions that may come your way when you suddenly start doing all this. What's the need for doing all this? Why it's who said this has to be done? Why you are only doing it when nobody in the home actually is doing it? Your father is so much much more older than you. He has so much more experience. If he is not doing it, why you are doing it? Do you think you are more intelligent than all of those people? So many questions that we may get. So this is why our philosophical understanding should be very clear to us. Go to the chat box and start typing what is your philosophical understanding, which is uh, which is why which is the reason why you're accepted Krishna consciousness and you're continuing to practice Krishna consciousness. Why you have accepted Krishna consciousness? What is your theory? What is your philosophical understanding? What is that thing that you like about Krishna consciousness, or that gave you conviction that yes, this is the right process and this is what I should practice? What is it that philosophical point? Don't say inner peace. Some people may experience inner peace when they watch movie. Some people may can experience inner peace when they go and watch a cricket match in the stadium, or worse, some people may experience inner peace by drinking couple of bottles of beer. So inner peace, it has to have a philosophical foundation. It has to have a philosophical. It has to be based on knowledge. Otherwise, this inner peace concept is just sentiment. Because I feel inner peace in beer bar, I feel inner peace in temple, and there is no difference. It cannot be like that. If it is like that, it's very. It's not. It has to have a foundation. It has to have a thought process, the thought flow. So I want to go behind your minds and understand what was that conviction. What, because in the when we hear Bhagavad Gita, when we talk about Bhagavad Gita, when we read Bhagavad Gita, when we hear classes on Krishna, about Krishna consciousness, there are few points which struck our mind, which convinces us that yes, maybe this is the right process. Maybe this is what I want to do. Maybe I should give it a try. I may not have full conviction, but let me give it a try to see if it works. I must have felt like that for maybe other other spiritual paths also. And I must have tried also some of those spiritual paths in past, but when I came to Krishna consciousness, now I'm feeling more confident, and that should be based on some reasons. I want to know those reasons about our conviction. What has given us the conviction to practice Krishna consciousness, to keep us in Krishna consciousness? So again, some I've started seeing a lot of answers, but a lot of these are fundamental questions that we should actually ask ourselves. And maybe I can give this as an exercise where we can do this. But I want you to spend still couple of minutes on this, thinking which aspect of Krishna consciousness, Bhagavad Gita especially, has given us the conviction that maybe this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, or at least I should give it a try. Maybe I don't know it 100%, but let me give it a try. Maybe I've heard from others. Maybe I have whatever I've heard, I find it very logical, whatever. And what that is, we want to know. You have to put your thoughts to the thoughts in words by doing this. Yeah, that again, try to think about philosophy. We are asking why, the question why. Uh, as I said, what is in it, the Krishna consciousness process that is attractive to us, attracted, we are getting attracted for that, and which is the conviction that, so being feeling peaceful, feeling stress free is the effect, but we should be able to link it to the cause. I feel happy while doing kirtan or doing japa. That's the effect. But what is in it? That chanting or that sankirtan that gives me that happiness. Why do I get that happiness? Will I get that happiness just by singing any song? Tomorrow, some Bollywood film song, if I sing, will I get the same happiness? So it's singing, is the singing giving you happiness? Then you may sing any song, that should that give you happiness? So go deeper. I'm saying we go deeper. We ask this: why am I practicing Krishna consciousness? Now, there are some symptoms we may get. We may feel stress free. We may feel, but those are also still the effects. We have to have the reason behind it. Why? The cause. Okay. So we'll move forward. So lot of seeing. I think a lot of personal messages, a lot of normal messages also. So, so again, I want you to again take this question back after the session also. Keep thinking about where, while listening to the classes of Bhagavad Gita, where did I got got to got the conviction that maybe I should accept this. Which point of time I felt while listening to the Bhagavad Gita that I should practice this Bhagavad Gita philosophy, or this seems proper. This seems real. This seems something which I should accept and I should practice on my own. So let us move forward into the session, but take this thought back and to dwell deep into the philosophy, uh, giving you some suggestive answers that I am soul. Now this is a powerful concept. Did I? How many of you knew that you are spirit soul before you read Bhagavad Gita? हम आत्मा है ये हम लोग को कितने लोगों को पता था? आई डिडंट न्यू. I always thought and myself as a body. I am a Maharashtrian body. Maharashtrian Brahmin family. I was very proud of my birth, and I always considered myself as body. I had no idea. I couldn't figure out how to deal with me myself at the level of soul. I didn't knew it. So knowledge of soul itself is extremely powerful concept. And Krishna being supreme soul, that itself is another big concept. And there is a relationship between the two is the third aspect, that we are not unrelated. Krishna is the Krishna is in control. This world, everyone is trying to get control. Everyone wants control over our possessions, our people, control over money, control over you know our we want authority. We want to have expand the boundaries of our control. If uh, we are If I'm a manager, I want to become senior manager, then I want to become director, then I want to become vice president, and then maybe COO, and some stage CEO, and so on and so forth. So then I want to have one company, then I want to acquire another company, I want to double the size of my turnover, I want to double again every year, I want to double my profit. And so there is there is great thirst for controllership, and enjoyership, enjoyment and control. This is like unending topics where you, no matter how much you get, you always want more. But Krishna is the ultimate controller. Krishna is the ultimate creator, maintainer, and destroyer. In this world, only Krishna is in control. We in and in this world, the nature follow law. But in many places, we can't find a cause and effect relationship effectively. A lot of things does not have a cause apparent right now in front of us. Everything is fine. Suddenly, a 30-year-old groom, while sitting on the ghoda in his own barat, just gets a heart attack and dies. He had no symptoms of heart attack. so so the world is filled with example. Our own world is filled with so many examples where we can't put a finger to a cause. When we see a effect, we just are thrown into a effect. We are just given a handed over a effect. A problem is given to us for which we can't see a cause. I have done nothing. I'm completely innocent. So why am I punished? Why am I being getting this problem? And sometimes it happens for some gains also. For some apparent uh, small action, we get lot of profit, lot of reactions, a lot of good reactions, and sometimes a lot of bad reactions. Either way, we are unable to, at many times we are unable to see a direct cause and effect relationship, effective cause and effect relationship for everything that happens inside our life. That is where Krishna comes into play, where Krishna says, I sanction everything. I sanction as per the law of karma, and all of you are bound by that law of karma. Now, this is again philosophically, this is again a great learning. Um, then and great learning, and a great reason for us to come to Krishna. Because if I'm not in control, I want to know who is in control of my life. I want to know who is sanctioning things which I'm getting. Be it good, be it bad, or be it ugly. But I want to know who is in control. And if Krishna says I'm in control, now we have we are not seeing exactly how Krishna is seeing and functioning, but we get who else we go to. Krishna has said, I am in control. We know for ourselves we are not in control. Our prime minister is not in control. American prime minister is not in control. United Nations is not in control. World Health Organization is not in control. Nobody is in control. None of the demigods are claiming they are in control. Um, Krishna says, I am in control. I am forced to believe in him. And when I pray to Krishna, things happen sometimes. So Krishna can do what I want, whatever I want. And when I get that evidence, then my faith increases, my faith deepens. So, so Krishna is in control. It's a great impetus for us to worship Krishna. Krishna is so. This is about Krishna's greatness, that how great Krishna is, and this is about his sweetness. He's our father. He's father of all the living entities. I may have my own parents in this life. In last life, I had different parents, and millions of lifetime I would have had millions and millions of a pair of parents, sometime in human body, sometime in Indian body, American body, Bangladeshi body, Pakistani body, sometime in animal body, birds body, aquatic body. So I continuously, I would have had numerous parents in past. So, but Krishna is our ultimate parents. Krishna is our ultimate father. He's father of not only us but all the living entities. So our that itself is sufficient for us to change our attitude towards all the living entities. He resides in our heart to witness, and help us navigate in this world. If I enter a bald dog's body, Krishna is there with me. He trained me how to behave like dog. He trained me to bow rather than speak words, because this is what am I going to do now. He trained my mind to develop liking towards she dog, to develop liking towards objects which dogs eat, and not to and not whatever my previous birth must have been. I give up those. So I get this orientation to my new body, and Krishna does that. So Krishna also perform leela, come to the planet and perform various pastimes, and those get documented, those get discussed. By discussing those, people can develop attraction towards Krishna. Janma karma chame divyam evam yo vetti tatvatah tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti somaiti arjuna. That just by knowing the reasons, the tatvatah reasons uh, of my activities and my birth and my activities, you will not take birth again. You will not take birth again. You will come back to me. Krishna not only tell us how to live happily in this world, but also give us the ultimate purpose of life. Ultimate purpose of life is to go back to Krishna, go back to our father, original father, and who is lovingly providing us with all the facilities for us to try and fulfill our desires. It could be a never-ending task, but Krishna is still being merciful. Krishna is still mercifully providing us with all these things. So, uh, we should now do our part by loving and serving Krishna. How can I do? What are the practices I can perform for the pleasure of Krishna? If I get convinced of various philosophical conclusions coming from Bhagavad Gita, then iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate. Krishna says, the first line of the 10.8 says that how great Krishna is, that everything emanates from Krishna, everything is created by Krishna, maintained by Krishna, and destroyed by Krishna. Aham sarvasya prabhavo, everything is under my control, everything is created by me, and matta sarvam pravartate, everything emanates from me. Iti matva bhajante mam. If you know this, then bhajante mam, perform devotional service to me, buddha bhava samanmitaha, with all your heart. And such a wise person will do this. If you are wise, you will do this. Again, 15th chapter, 19th verse, where Krishna says that Yomam evam asam mudho janati purushottamam. If you know that I am the Uttama Purusha, I am that Uttama Purusha who existed when nothing existed. If you come to this conclusion that how great I am, I'm not ordinary butter. I might be seen as stealing butter from homes of gopis, but that is not all what I am. I am far, far bigger than what you can imagine, what you can even conceive. So I existed when nothing existed. I exist, everything exists inside me. And I will continue to exist when I will destroy everything. So, Buddha Bhav, Yomam Evam Asamudho Janati Purushottama, that Uttama Purusha is me. If you know this, Sarva Vidha Bhajati Mam, Sarva Bhavena Bharata. So, this is the cause, this is the effect. The first line is the cause why I am worshipping Krishna, because Krishna is the Uttama Purusha, Purushottamam. And so, what am I supposed to do? I am supposed to Buddha Bha, Sarva Vidha Bhajati Mam, with all my whatever I possess, whatever I have, mind, body, words, intelligence, possessions, everything I will utilize in serving Krishna. So that is the effect that should be that we should all have. So that activities sa sarva vida bhajati mam. Worshipping Krishna happens through chanting of his holy name. When we do japa in Sankirtan, we sing japa, we chant. By connecting, by chanting and singing Krishna's glories, we connect ourselves with Krishna, heart to heart. And that intimate connections with Krishna brings us purification, bring purification of our heart. We see our anarthas reducing, our unwanted desires going away, our anger reducing, our concentration increasing, our focus increasing, our distractions reducing, our ability to choose right wrong increasing, and our ability to choose right over wrong also increasing. Many times we may know this is right, this is wrong, but we may feel ourselves powerless to accept right and reject wrong, because a wrong can be so tempting, wrong can overpower us. So we should need that power to choose the right, know right what is right and choose that right. So we do that by chanting. By chanting can give us immense benefits. We can hear Krishna's pastimes, we can speak about Krishna's, glorify his pastimes, or we can hear about his pastimes from devotees who are also in love with Krishna. That's why parampara is crucial. Not everyone can speak about Bhagavad Gita, and it can have the effect. There will be some professional speakers who give Bhagavad Katha. Now they may do it as a profession, because in some Navratra they will give Durga Katha. They will, in some around Shivratri, they may come and speak Shiva Katha, and they do this as a profession. So if you ask them to narrate some other Katha, they will do that as well, because this is their source of revenue. They are not in love with Krishna. They may glorify Krishna while speaking Bhagavatam. Similarly, they may glorify some other demigod while speaking their katha in some. So they are like actors who sometimes can speak lines written by the writers, which could be where he may play a character of a thief, and someday he may play a character of a judge. Now he is not interested in both of these things. He is completely different. He could be completely different. So such talk, no matter how attractive it is, no matter how many people come for their program, is will not lead to transformation of heart. Such talk will not lead to transformation of heart, because it's not the purpose of the speaker. Purpose of the speaker is to get money and provide entertainment. If entertainment is the purpose with which we hear Bhagavatam, how can we expect heart to get transformed? How can we expect to learn a lot of good things that we spoke about, that that are developed in a devotee? How can I expect my anarthas to reduce? How can I expect myself to become sincere devotee? It's not the purpose. So if it may happen accidentally, but they are not concerned about you, they may just move on. Next day, they may speak some other katha. So, such talk is useless. So, we should be extremely careful from whom we hear, who they are, what are they doing, what are their values, what are their principles, and what is their way of worship. Who are they really worshippers? They are worshippers of whom? What are their faith? What is their deep faith tells them? So if they could be, they may be, they may externally they may speak about various gods, but internally they may believe that there is no God. That's possible. So we have to hear Krishna Katha in parampara, and therefore we shouldn't hop around internet to search for good time pass katha of Krishna Katha. We should call our authorities, call the devotees who are guiding us, and ask them, if I have some spare time, whom should I listen to? We should all listen to Prabhupada. There's so many Prabhupada lectures available on the internet, and we should listen to all of those wherever we extra get time. No need to listen to anyone else. If you can listen to Prabhupada, you will get everything that you need for this lifetime to go back to Krishna. Simple act like offering bhoga every day to Krishna is extremely powerful. Right from the moment you go visit market to buy vegetables for offering them to Krishna, to the time you actually go in front of Krishna, put it nicely, it cook nicely, with where a lot of care and cleanliness, then put it, dress it nicely in the plate, put it in a plate in a very nice way, opulent way, as much as you can, and take a tulsi leaf, offer it there, place it there, and then take it in front of Lord, offer it with whole all your heart, and with a sincere desire that Lord will accept it, Lord will like it. Hope it is delicious, hope it is fulfilling your desire, hope you like it. And with that mood we offer it to God, and that becomes prasad. God accepts, because not because he's hungry. God accepts our love that we offer through that bhoga to Krishna. Krishna says blatantly in Bhagavad Gita, whatever you do, do it for me. Patram pushpam phalam toyam. He also tells you what he likes to eat, what more you want. So this is such a high philosophical understanding that doesn't exist in any of the other scriptures. So if you just take to the Bhagavad Gita philosophy itself, you will have so many beautiful reasons you can come up with why you should do what you are doing. You are doing all of those things, hopefully. Most of you are fasting on Ekadashi, most of you are joining japa sessions, or at least doing japa in your on a daily basis. You must be hopefully offering, like right now what you are doing is you are hearing Krishna Katha, you are hearing from Bhagavad Gita. A lot of people then offer bhoga at home, some kind of to the picture of Krishna, some kind of a lot of you devotees are engaged in serving Krishna in different ways, serving devotees in their mission to spread Krishna consciousness. And by doing these activities, you all experience a lot of peace and joy. सुसुखम कर्तुम अव्ययम राजविद्या राजगुह्यम पवित्रम इदमुत्तमम प्रत्यक्षात अवगमम धर्म्यम सुसुखम कर्तुम अव्ययम. 9.2 Krishna says that this is Raja Vidya, this is king of all education, Raja Guhyam, this is extremely confidential. Pavitram, this is very, very Pavitra, this is Uttamam, this is beyond darkness. And Pratyakshat Avagamam Dharmyam, this has to be realized by practical application. In the science, Newton was conducting experiments. He was not the object of experiment. But in Krishna consciousness, spirituality, we become the object of experiment, because we may see others do japa and get purified, but we will not really know their internal consciousness, because we can only see things externally, and externally things can you can cheat. You can just show how purified you have become, while inside you may have all dirty desires that nobody can peep inside our head or peep inside our heart. So it's easy to fake externally, but it's easy to judge somebody's internal consciousness. So, uh, like that. Uh, so unlike Newton, who was conducting externally experience, for spirituality, we have to offer ourselves to the experience, because when we become sincere, when we chant nicely, when we hear Krishna Katha nicely, with attention, when we personally offer bhoga to Lord, when we personally serve devotees and Lord in any way, every way possible, we are the one who experience transformation of heart. We are the one who experience peace of mind and joy. We are the one who experience our anarthas reducing. We are the one who experience that all the good qualities are manifesting in us. Earlier, I used to lie at every occasion. Now I don't. The thought of lying does not even cross my mind. I used to eat meat at every opportunity, but now I doesn't even cross my mind. So my inner consciousness is changing. It's transforming, and for that, I'm linking that with the philosophy basis which I'm doing some practice and I'm seeing the results. So there is a philosophy, I'm performing some activities, and I'm experiencing the result. Now all the three are in sync, and therefore I can, in that stage, we can practice devotional service for a real long time. Otherwise, at a little disturbance, first thing we will do is to eliminate our spiritual life, completely end our spiritual life, because our spiritual life is only based on some sentiment. not on the basis of philosophy. And if you only talk philosophy, do nothing, that's another dangerous thing to do. A lot of people we know, they come for classes regularly, and but they like it. They debate also quite a lot, but they don't seems to have developed any faith because they don't practice anything. They may hear, they may debate, but they just don't want to practice. They're just either lazy or not convinced enough to practice, or uh, yeah, they could be lazy. So simple foolish people, who only do mental speculation and does not accept the practice of devotional service, cannot witness transformation of heart, cannot witness any positive changes in within themselves, and therefore their philosophical understanding remains superficial in nature. It is not, there's no conviction in their heart about the philosophy. Sometimes, they may read something else, they may like that, they may start liking that, and then they may give up this philosophical understanding also without, because they accepted it even without thinking, so they will give it up also without thinking much. So now such people can't practice bhakti for a long time with commitment. Krishna takes this discussion further by saying that nahi kaschita kshanamapi jatu tishtatya karmakrut karyate ह्य avashah karma sarvehe prakriti jay gune. That everyone is forced to act helplessly. Nahi kaschita kshanamapi jatu tishtatya krut. That according to the qualities he has acquired from the modes of material nature, therefore no one nahi kaschita kshanamati kshanamapi एक क्षण के लिए भी you cannot not
ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ
do
ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ
anything.
ಕೊಡಮ್ಮ ಮೈದಾ ಹಿಟ್ಟ ಏನ ಅನ್ನ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ
Yeah. So sorry, Mataji, I just muted you. So भगवान बोल रहे हैं कि क्षण के लिए भी आपको कुछ ना करने का तो सवाल ही नहीं उठता है. Now he's addressing Arjuna's question that should I do nothing? Should I do nothing का तो सवाल ही नहीं उठता है, because not even for a moment you can refrain from doing something. You will have to do something, and that's our nature. The soul is extremely active. So soul currently is carrying the burden of this body. It's like when you go for trek, maybe you can, maybe with a sack full of stuff on your back, you're still able to walk fast and you're able to run. But if that sack is taken out, you may walk and run with much more ease or much more speed. So, like that, soul is currently carrying the burden of our body. But if that is removed, same soul can run and be more active only. So there's no question of a soul becoming dull. So soul will always want to act, and soul is the driver inside our body. So body wants does not want to act at all. Body is just like this table. A table has no desire. Table is not the desirer. Table does not want to do anything. So similarly, body on its own wants nothing. But when the soul is inside the body, soul may develop hundreds of desires, and desires to enjoy and desires to control, and all of those, we have to execute at the level of body. So the desirer, experiencer is the soul. Now, कर्मेंद्रियाणि संयम्य य आस्ते मनसा स्मरन् इंद्रियार्थ विमूढ़ात्मा मिथ्याचारः स उच्यते. Now Krishna is warning Arjuna that some of the people becomes fake sadhus. So there's something we'll talk about external and internal. Indriyarthan vimudhatma mithyachara sa uchate. Vimudhatma, the foolish soul, foolish person, mithyachara, engage in mithyachar, cheating, cheating other people, becomes pretender, pretending something that he is not. So let's talk about this. The one who restrains the senses of action, but whose mind dwells on the sense object, certainly deludes himself and is called a mithyachari or pretender. What Krishna is speaking about? Somebody may wants to become a sadhu. Now he's still having lusty desires inside his mind, but for the sake of convenience, one may see that, okay, if you are a sadhu, you get a lot of respect. You get to wear saffron clothes, you get a lot of respect in the society, you may be able to collect a lot of donation from people. You may say that I'm building temple here, I'm building temple there, nobody knows. So there is a lot of easy money available for a sadhu, a lot of respect available for a sadhu. So if you see all these probability possibilities, and for that purpose, if you choose to become a sadhu, कि ये अच्छा बिजनेस हो जाएगा, अच्छा आई विल बी रिस्पेक्टेड, बैठे बैठे लोग खाना ला के दे देंगे मुझे, सब कुछ सामग्री ला के दे देंगे, आई डोंट हैव टू रियली वर्क हार्ड लाइक अ डॉग, आई डोंट हैव टू गो टू ऑफिस, आई डोंट हैव टू डू बिजनेस, दिस itself will become my business, and let me just become a sadhu. So, कुछ हो तो हेयर तो ग्रो करना है, दाढ़ी मूछी बढ़ानी है, कपड़े भी सस्ते में मिल जाते हैं सैफरॉन कलर के, so let me just try this out as a business proposition. Now, inside my mind, I'm still lusty. I still have lusty desires about women, whoever I see. And now that is so there is no purification has happened inside of the inner consciousness, but the external dress has changed. Now people come in front of me, pay obeisances, and I keep looking at them with lusty eyes. Eventually, my garb external will fall down, and I might expose myself to the I might get caught doing wrong things. That's what happens in many cases, and unfortunately, it gets a lot of media attention. And unfortunately, that exists. Such people exist in the society, even amongst the sadhus. So, in the verse 3.6, Krishna is used two strong words to describe a false sadhu: vimudha and a mithya. Mithyachari is the one who makes a show of meditation while his mind is still dwelling on the sense enjoyment. He's not given up sense enjoyment. In fact, he wants sense enjoyment by the mask, wearing the mask of a sadhu, or a sannyasi. So, a person who accepts prestige and respect without discharging sacrifice and responsibility for such a position. A sannyasi is supposed to preach 24 by 7, but this person who has accepted falsely the dress of a sannyasi uh, is not able to do that. A sannyasi is supposed to have pure mind, and senses and mind under his complete control. A mithyachari, on the other hand, is not able to do that because he has not tried enough. He's prematurely trying to accept uh, sannyas clothes for some benefit that are attached to that that ashram, not because of the responsibility and uh, you know not because of the responsibility that comes with it, sacrifice and responsibility that they have done. They have done nothing. So such a person is compared to a king who's collecting taxes but not doing anything for the welfare of the society. Such a person is mithyachari, and such a person is not recommended. So there are four stages through which things happen. When we become devotee, when we and this happens to us also, there's a change of external dress and there's a change of internal consciousness as well. Now this is the best position to be in. This is the win-win or best position to be in. That I, after coming to Krishna consciousness, my external are changing. Now I'm wearing dhuti kurta, I'm wearing a tilak on my forehead, I'm wearing kanthi mala, I'm carrying bead bag. So that's seeing this, anybody will say कि अच्छा ये तो devotee लगता है, ISKCON का devotee लगता है. It's very easy for people to understand that. However, inside my mind also I have change. I have practiced spirituality with all my heart, all my sincerity. And Krishna, being seeing my sincerity, has given me mercy. And because of which my anarthas have reduced. My bad intentions, my desires have gone down. My so a lot of benefit I am seeing, because of which I am now becoming fixed in my devotional service. So So like that, so there is a change of external dress, there is a change in internal consciousness as well. Now this is the best position. Number one is the best position to be in. Now number two is saying that there's a change in the external dress, but internal change has still not happened completely. I'm still work in progress, which means there's a sincere effort I'm trying to do to change myself. However, because of the wrong practice in past, because of the wrong karma done in the past life or this life or the or previous past life, uh, I'm struggling to completely change my reality, completely change my domain. So there is a change of external days, but there is a sincere effort to change internal consciousness as well. Now this is where we all should be. This is where we all should be. This number two. Now there's a change. Third category is change of external dress, and unfortunately no sincere effort to change internal consciousness. Now this is like taking bhakti cheaply, taking devotional service cheaply. So you just are enjoying the benefits of being a devotee without doing anything devotional with sincerity, without doing anything devotional with sincerity. Now this will get exposed eventually. This can't go on forever, because eventually people will find out that uh, you are talking about japa, but you yourself are not doing japa. You're talking about purifying your consciousness, you're doing nothing to do that. So eventually people will figure that out, and then you should be that will be extremely sad, because then people will reject you. Your external also gets rejected, and worst is people may conclude that all those people who dress like you are like you, and that will be the conclusion. If that conclusion people come to, that's extremely sad. There could be few bad people in any group, but the whole group should not be labeled as bad just because that group had couple of bad people, bad examples. Similarly, and that will be there in everywhere practically, we'll have couple of people, couple of things that we might want to fix later. So there's no so this is this is the third category where there's external change, but there's no sincere effort to change internal consciousness. The fourth category is the worst category, and hopefully none of us should be in that category ever. The fourth category says that the change of external dress and continue to look for opportunities to do sinful activities in the disguise of now new dress. I'm wearing this new dress. Maybe it's a saffron dress now. Let's see if that makes it easy for me to do sinful activities, which I don't wanted to do always. So that is how we can understand that how this external and internal are interrelated, how they affect each other, and what should be our attitude towards that. So we should not only change externally, we should do a sincere effort to change our internal consciousness also. If that is not happening, then our efforts are incomplete. Now Krishna is saying something very important. Oh yeah, we may not be able to complete the entire class. Oh, we may, no problem. So we're just 12:30, so let's see how far we are able to complete. So Krishna is now going to speak that perform your prescribed duty, for doing so is better than not working. One cannot even maintain one's physical body without work. Sharira yatra cha, yatra pi cha, sharira yatra pi chate, न न प्रसिद्ध कर्मणः, न प्रसिद्ध्यत कर्मणः. That even Sharir Yatra, one cannot even maintain one's physical body without doing work, doing work. So, what to speak of doing other things? What will be your, how you will, you cannot maintain your own self. What to speak of, helping others? So, one cannot even maintain one's own physical body without work. So, you have to work. Yajna, and how do you work? Krishna gives a tip that yajna arthat karmano anyatra yoko yam karma bandhana. Stad artham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samacharaha. That work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for Krishna's satisfaction, and in that way, you will always remain free from bondage. Karma bandhana is an important term. We always heard that karma leads to fruit, karma phala, and that causes bondage. The bandhana, karma bandhana, is a bondage of karmic actions and reactions. And to escape, how do I escape that? How do I escape that? Is when we act for the pleasure of Krishna, then we can escape that. How can we act for the pleasure of Krishna? So, uh, that is what is will be taught to us by Prabhupada. That will be taught to us by our Guru and Acharya. So, under their guidance, we can choose to work for the satisfaction of Vishnu or Krishna, and that is sufficient. Okay, uh, that is sufficient for us to become free from bondage. Good. Prabhupada gives a very nice explanation in this. This purport of this verse, that good or bad work done for self gives good or bad reactions. So as long as we continue to work for our own self, we will continue to get good or bad reactions. Example, we have to wake up early. For that, we all must be setting up alarms in our mobile or watch. However, think about it. Uh, if you decide that you want to sleep, you want to wake up early because you want to do japa in the morning by joining Zoom session. Now that sleep, this from the moment you said this to your own self, uh, the speech and the sleeping actually become devotional activity, and then your waking up also becomes devotional activity. When you wake up with a desire to go to temple or desire to do devotional activities, all the activities in between that happening also becomes devotional activities. So even if you're taking bath, that becomes a devotional activity. If you're passing stool, even that becomes a devotional activity. So again, these devotional activities, when things are done on behalf of Krishna, they do not produce any fruits or reaction. But so this is the fundamental point that we should all remember. The now the reaction. What is the problem with the reactions? Good or bad work done for self gives good or bad reactions, and reactions cause bondage, karma bandha, leading to repeated birth and death. It's our own karma bandha. अगर हमारी पेनल्टी है हमारे नाम पे तो we only have to come and clear it. So for that we have to take repeated birth and repeated death. If you steal, rob a bank or rob a shop wearing blue t-shirt, and next day you come to the same shop wearing green t-shirt, and when you get caught you can't argue that I was not that person. See, that person was wearing blue t-shirt who did steal at your shop. I'm wearing green t-shirt or red t-shirt, so I am not that person. So even if your dress has changed, you can still get caught in Krishna's diary. And because of that, it does not, that because of that, one must work. Therefore, one must work in Krishna consciousness for Krishna's satisfaction. As long as we work for our own self, our own desires, based on our own desires, we will continue to experience lot of distress and happiness both. uh, but if we start choose to work for Krishna, on behalf of Krishna for his satisfaction, then such work is free from reaction. Hence, there is no bondage. We take an example of a shopping mall sometimes, that if you go to shopping mall and you buy products, and when the cashier try to stop you, start running with a cart, all the money, all that stuff that you have bought. Now that's a very dangerous situation. The cashier will alert the security guards. They will all catch hold of you, and they can beat you up until they are able to recover all that you have stolen from them. So this is one way of doing activity. Second way is one is so this is a dharmic way of acting. A dharmic way of acting is I have 100 rupees. I'll go to the shop and I'll only buy stuff worth 100 rupees. Therefore, the cashier when try to stop me, I will give him 100 rupees. I'll pay out for all the goods and I will go back, go out, enjoy. Now I had 100 rupees. Now my 100 rupees are over. Now, if I want to come back to the shop tomorrow, I need another 100 rupees or another note of money. For that, I have to work hard, earn my credits, and then come to the shop again tomorrow to buy the fresh stock of vegetables. So this is dharmic, but this is not transcendental, because here you're only following the rules given defined. You're not they're doing nothing. Nothing transcendental is happening in this. You are paying 100 rupees and getting a goods worth 100 rupees. But take the example of a third person who goes to the shop and do shopping, full cart भर के वो सामान ले लेता है and then goes to the cashier says thank you to him, and he leaves. Now why is cashier not stopping him? Because cashier knows that this boy has come on behalf of the owner of the store. Whatever he is withdrawing from here is going to go to his home, and hence shopkeeper does not the cashier doesn't even try to stop him, because he's aware that this is because he's aware that who's for whom this shopping is done, he is able to respond properly. So our actions, when they are done on behalf of Krishna, they are free from reactions. Hence, they do not cause any bondage. Prabhupada writes, this is the great art of doing work. What is this? This is the great art of doing work. Two beautiful verses where Krishna is now talking about that the beginning of the creation, the Lord of all creatures sent forth the generations of men and demigods along with the sacrifice for Vishnu, and blessed them by saying, be thou happy by this yagya. Be thou happy by this by this yagya, because its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation. Living happily is not the end of life, not the end goal of life. Achieving liberation is. If you only accept everything that is provided for the purpose of living happily and don't try for liberation, you're wasting your lifetime. We are wasting our lifetime. Because that living happily is is not possible, is impossible, because this world is labeled as dukhalaya mashashvatam. So whatever we have today will be gone tomorrow, and whatever is not there today will come tomorrow. So so it's a place of misery. We can't expect perpetual happiness in this world, but some happiness is available. Krishna is confirming that some happiness is available to us, but if we only remain focused on that, then we will miss out on achieving liberation. The demigods being pleased by sacrifices will also please you, and thus by corresponding the cooperation between men and demigods, prosperity will reign in all of in for all. Krishna says, Parasparam bhavayantah shreya param Parasparam bhavayantah shreya parama vapsatha vapsyatha parama vapsatha. So prosperity will regain for all. By how? By the cooperation between men and demigod. Prabhupada writes a beautiful purport in this. Should be sending this slide to all of you for remembering what are we supposed to do. So you can all read through. Material creation is a chance offered to souls to come back to Godhead. Material creation, the use of this material world is a chance. It's nothing but a chance offered to the conditioned souls to come back to Godhead. Conditioned souls, having forgotten their eternal relationship with Lord, are trying to enjoy independently. Conditioned souls can learn how to perform sacrifice so that they can get their necessities to live happily in this world, and can go back to Godhead after giving up their present body. This is the whole program of Lord for sending souls to in this material world. In Kali Yuga, Sankirtan Yajna is recommended. Sankirtan Yajna is recommended form of yajna for the purpose of going back to Godhead